All right, we're going to talk about something that's, I think, very, very important here. There's a lot of opportunities coming up in the next few weeks as we get into the holidays for families to get together and maybe have a conversation that they've been wanting to have for a long time and yet have been very uncomfortable doing it, and that's talking about some personal finance issues. I'm joined on the program right now by Kai Stitchcomb. He heads up a website called True Link Financial, providing a service that can be very, very helpful about those out there that are worried about some of the financial decisions made by others in their family. Kai, thanks for joining us on the program.
Thanks. I'm glad to be here.
What part of the country are you in, Kai?
I'm up in San Francisco.
Oh, okay. Great. Great. You guys, how's the weather up there now?
Sunny.
Sunny, good. Okay, great. All right, listen, let's talk about this because this website that you developed and the service you developed come out of a personal experience. Talk a little bit about that, if you would.
Yeah, that's right. So as my grandmother turned about 80, she started to lose track of her finances a little bit. And so some of it was, for example, charitable donations that she used to donate $50, say, once a month. And then she started experiencing memory loss, and so she might donate $50 every day. She just didn't remember that she had made the donation. And then there was also sort of more vulnerability to being taken in by stuff. So, you'd get that letter with the handwriting on it saying, act today. She looked at the handwriting font and thought it was handwriting. She thought that maybe some kid in Africa was writing just to her, asking her for 20 cups of rice or else he would starve.
Sure.
So she started just losing track of it and ended up donating quite a bit of money that she really couldn't afford.
And probably not always to legitimate charities, right?
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of these organizations, it's a for-profit fundraising organization that might take a 90% cut before they hand anything on to the cause they're purporting to help.
Yeah. So how do you broach that subject, Kai? I mean, because obviously, how do you say this? You're now beginning to question the ability of that person, that person that is so close and important to you, a parent, a grandparent, their ability to make financial decisions, and that has got to be one of the harder things to do.
The thing to remember is that at almost every stage in your life, there's multiple sets of eyes on the road, right? So, when you're a kid, your parents are watching out. When you're sort of in your adult life, typically you have a spouse watching out. And as you age, it may be your kids again. And the point is, keeping in mind that it's not because, they're dumb or whatever. It's because it's always better to have multiple sets of eyes on the road. And just remember that you're playing a supporting role, right? That they have certain financial goals. They want to be independent. They want to be able to spend their money on the things they need. And this behavior may be endangering that, and they might not really know that.
So you came up with this concept of True Link Financial. Explain how that works.
So the idea is that if your parents, for example, are spending money in a way that they can't afford and are kind of losing track of it, we can help protect them and protect their ability to spend their money on the things they need, their independence. And so what we do is give you a new Visa card that will allow you to spend money on those things, but will block the charges automatically if it's, a sketchy charity or a late-night wire transfer to somebody in Nigeria.
Uh-huh. And so this gives, as you say, another set of eyes on the money management, right?
Exactly. So if you're the daughter or son, you can kind of help keep them safe in the same way that, for example, there might be a nurse that comes by and makes sure that they're taking their medicine or any other life activity that they need some support on.
So that I'm assuming, therefore, that someone in the family is kept informed on this kind of stuff?
Yeah, exactly. So we send alerts on any type of suspicious transaction, and then you can configure it to be, anything from the lightest touch, just let me know anytime more than $1,000 leaves her account to some pretty fine-grained stuff. You say, there's really no reason for mom to be making wire transfers. Anytime she's making wire transfers, it's probably the result of fraud.
All right, you guys put out a list of red flags that you might want to look for during the holidays when you're going to hopefully have this conversation. And let's go through just a few of them real quick. The obvious one is missing funds, right?
Yeah, exactly. So getting the financial picture, and so just watching, what is the bank account balance? What is the investment account balance? And then how your mom talks about money. You might be out shopping and she might say, gosh, I really can't afford that. And then you look at that and you say, well, why can't you afford that?
Yep, that's a great great red flag right there. Uh, the phone calls from telemarketers,
Yeah,
sometimes it's people, and I hate to make generalities here, Kai, but listen, I'm up there in years myself, so I can say some of these things, I guess. People sometimes get lonely when they're at that
yeah.
point in their life, and that phone call is something they look forward to, and they get a call from a telemarketer, and let's face it, some of these people are very good at what they do. They can make a person feel like they're very special. And even though they may be on the do not call list, a lot of these still get through, don't they?
That's true. That's true. There are certain exemptions, but the sketchier you are, the more likely you are to make that phone call. And you're exactly right. These are people that are extremely well-trained professionals, part of a multi-billion-dollar industry, and they know exactly what they're doing, offering a just-for-you price, selling you this vision of having these great, super discounted, gifts for your family over the holidays. It's shopping season, limited time offer, just for you price. All of this baloney, really.
Yeah.
And it becomes such an attractive picture. And, the thing to remember is that it's not that they're preying on mom for being, dumb, right? The thing that they're preying on is all of her good attributes, right? That she wants to provide for her family, that she's thrifty, that she has an eye for a discount. These are things that, these are great things about mom, and they're taking advantage of it.
All right, the other thing that I think, and again, this is really appropriate this time of the year because we're going to have those family gatherings. And what people need to do, one of the things you suggest people do, is to really put on a good set of ears and pay very close attention to some of the things that are being said. Explain that a little bit, Kai.
Yeah, so there might be all sorts of little tips in the conversation that somebody will talk about, travel that they're planning, for example, and you say, oh, tell me about this vacation that you're going on, and it may be, some sort of lottery scam or sweepstakes scam where they're being told that if they enter this, buying club or discount club, they can get all these cruises. So there's a bunch of things where you sort of look at every aspect of the environment, whether it's the phone calls, whether it's junk mail, whether there's boxes sitting around, and you say, what did you order? What is this? What's this for?
Yeah.
The all-in-one vacuum cleaner and mop. And you say, how much did you pay for this?
Yeah. All of this rings true because before my mom passed away a couple of years ago, we were constantly vigilant about that. And one of the areas we had concern, because my mom was a very independent cuss and would just not contemplate moving into an assisted living facility. And so she preferred to have some caregivers come in. And even though we worked with agencies and stuff like that, there was always that uncertainty about them accessing information or doing things that could have a financial harm.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And so just being aware, another aspect of the environment is who is around. Does dad have a new girlfriend? If so, who is that person? What's the nature of the relationship? Is mom talking a lot about her caregiver, and maybe the caregiver is helping out with the finances in some way? And you sort of say, well, we didn't hire her to do that.
Yeah, great point. Very, very good point. Kai, this is really great stuff. I'm fascinated by the work you and your team are trying to do to protect these people. So how do they find out more about TrueLink?
The website's truelinkfinancial.com. We have tons of resources on there, and if you're interested in signing up for the protection service, we're here for you.
Great. It is a great website with a lot of really good information. I spent some time on there a couple of times this past week to get ready for our chat here. And this happens to be, by the way, November is National Family Caregiver Month, so all of this is very appropriate. Again, TrueLink Financial, all one word, truelinkfinancial.com. Kai, thanks for being with us on the program today.
Thanks for having me.